let's cover the Fantastic Four issue 32. At the end of the last issue, the Fantastic Four were successful in getting Ben his powers back. But because they tampered with the past, their past selves never came back to Earth with powers. And so this erased them from existence. But right before Sue disappeared, she was able to get a force field around the kids. 2 of them disappear before Valerie's eyes. But as she starts to disappear, something strange happens. Her mind is transferred into a stranger's body in this new timeline where the Fantastic Four never got their powers. So she realizes she's in New York, and the first thing she does is look up her parents. But when she arrives and tells them everything that happened before she was erased, they just give her this strange look and say Franklin will deal with it. She tries to get more out of them, but again they say Franklin will deal with it and shut the door in her face. So as she's contemplating what to do next, Franklin in the form of Galactus shows up, and as he's about to peer into her mind, he says there's another threat that popped up that he needs to go take care of. That's when Valerie gets snatched up by someone. It's Jean Grey. She takes Valerie to a hideout to her husband Namor. They're the ones that created the distraction for Franklin, because Jean read her mind and knew she wasn't from this timeline. And that's when we get the story of why Franklin is the way he is. So like Valerie, Franklin's mind was transported to this timeline. But since the body his mind went to was an embryo, it couldn't sustain all his memories. But it did take his powers. So when he was born to a powerless Reed and Sue, he was the only one powerful enough to take down Galactus. And that's what he did. He then went on to deal with all the conflict in the world. And how he did it was lobotomizing everyone, making them a former shell of what they were so that they would be good and happy. He then took the form of Galactus because it was the biggest thing he'd ever seen. And with no one to stop him, he just did whatever he wanted. So they brought Valerie here to see if she could help. They've already tried to send people back in time to stop this from ever happening. Franklin just destroys everyone they send. So Valerie suggests instead of sending people, send information. Send her own mind back in time to her original body so that she can stop this from ever happening. So Jean and Namor gather the pieces of equipment they need to build this machine. But as soon as they turn it on, Franklin immediately detects it. He immediately lobotomizes Namor, and Valerie and Jean are next. Then we see that Franklin has read Valerie's mind and knows everything. But as he's slowly erasing both Valerie and Jean's mind, we find out that this was all part of the plan. Valerie knew she couldn't send her entire mind over before Franklin found them. So they came up with another plan that would be faster, and then repeated the old plan so that Franklin would see that first. You see, Valerie only sent 4 words back in time, and that was enough to stop this timeline and restore the original one. So she stays with this alternative version of her brother to comfort him before they're both inevitably erased. We are then back in the original timeline that Valerie restored, right before the moment they go back into the past and got erased previously. She stops her family from repeating the same mistake twice. Not only that, she also has an idea on how to fix Ben.